Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Retro Wednesdays. I'm Andrew Lenz, and joining me always is Matt Johnson. How you
Howdy.
doing, Matt?
I'm great, buddy. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. We were just talking about how North Tonawanda used to have a football team in there
Yeah, I used to be a
until it shut down halfway through a
pro
season
football
there.
team, and
Yeah,
before the sun set on them, and their time in the NFL. But
yeah,
yeah, defending champ here. This is the rubber
yes,
match. I am excited. We're 4 and
yeah,
4 apiece, so we get to break the tie. And actually, the winner of this one, so we actually get to record next week, right?
yeah.
It's you.
So
You're off in 2 weeks. June.
June, yeah. So
So
we get one more.
so we're gonna do this one, and then the following week, we get to do we're gonna do a special episode. So whoever wins tonight
Ooh,
gets to right because that's how it was. Because we
force the
don't count
winner.
we don't count the special episodes towards our monthly totals.
I was letting you handle that one.
So one, I've won two. It's, we'll see.
I would
I don't know.
consider counting them,
I guess we can. I guess we can. But
or we can
technically,
go
that
with
would mean that I would win regardless. But
as we figure this out right in front of everybody, but
I know.
like maybe go with a hockey point system where it's we
Uh,
do like 1 point for a regular win, but you get 2 points
oh, I'm
in
definitely.
your column for a special.
If that's the case, then I'm automatically
Yeah.
picking the special episode. But um,
Oh,
yeah, I don't want to win on bad merit. But yeah, so that's what's going on today. We're going to the 1960s, the National Football League side of things this time. But before we get started today, I'm not going to get another chance to talk about this publicly. So I wanted to bring this up. This past Wednesday was my birthday, and towards the end of my birthday run, we got a little news report that the owner of my favorite football team, the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay, passed away at 65 years old. And I wanted to say a couple things because again, I'm not gonna I don't my Eat Sleep Bliss show, like if I did it now, it would just be so dated. This is going to be coming out a week after the everything happened, but uh, it shook me to my core. It was really really sad and sudden that all of a sudden my birthday is I'm gonna maybe forever remember it as the anniversary of the death of Jim Irsay. He was a really really good owner. I thought. And even though there was some questionable decisions towards the end, a lot of chaos, a lot of people getting to keep their jobs who I didn't believe should keep their job. That's neither here nor there. He was a really, really good owner and a good human being, I think, at the core. And no matter what you say about him, his rough drug history, like that really, I shouldn't even have to bring that up. But a lot of people still like even post mortem feel the need to slide that in an insulting way. This man was so open about his battle with mental health, his struggles with mental health. That's why I wore this shirt today, stronger than my darkest days. Excuse me. Uh, because the Colts were one of the only NFL teams that I'm aware of that really pushed the mental health, um, pushed awareness for it. And Jim was open and honest about his struggles, his issues, and he was a good person. He gave money to so many people. I remember a couple years ago a story. He was at one of the Bills games here, handing out $100 bills to Bills fans and people in the crowd. And he gave a lot of money to the city of Indianapolis. He gave a lot of money to a lot of great people. There's just a narrative about billionaires that they're all pieces that like are just trash, and I understand that there are many billionaires and greedy people out there. And Jim Irsay, within reason, was a very, very charitable man and took care of people that he loved, people who he never met before. Uh, I the first time I went to Indianapolis, had just started my 2 Point Conversation podcast at that time. And I wrote a blog about my experience because I wanted to add an element of writing to the show, make it more than just a podcast. And I typed up uh, basically a report on my first time seeing the city and seeing the Colts play at home in Indianapolis. And Jim was, I didn't even tag Jim Irsay, but he was kind enough to retweet it and said, "Thanks, Matt," and gave me a thumbs up. And I wish I still had that screenshot. I'd have to log back onto my Facebook page to probably retrieve that, but I appreciate that. He didn't have to do that, and it made me feel so good. Me, a nobody essentially, and who cares about this little crappy podcast blog that some dude from Niagara Falls wrote? He retweeted it. It was my most checked blog, and even though it sucks. Like I hate that I had to live to see that. But the dude lived life to the fullest. I just wanted to offer my public condolences to the Irsay family, to the Colts organization, everybody who loved and adored Jim Irsay. I've said things like just as a fan, just emotionally charged things, but it's still like it's still rough. It still sucks. I don't care about many celebrity or famous people deaths. Like they don't get to me often. But me being a Colts fan for almost 30 years now, probably at 25, 26 years now, and having to hear that was a tough pill to swallow. So, thank you, Jim Irsay, for being a part of building up a Colts team that I could be proud to be a fan of. Because if he didn't put the right people in place when he took over in 1997, if he didn't, go all in on Peyton Manning and several other players and make this team fun, I think I'd have many different life experiences. I don't think I'd be a Colts fan, to be perfectly honest with you. My trips to Indianapolis would probably not have ever occurred. Who knows where my football fandom would be? So, my condolences.
I think the most stand-up thing I seen him do was when he let Andrew Luck keep all of his money.
Yep.
In a world where I've watched two guys from the Lions, I'm pretty sure they did it to Calvin
They
Johnson
did.
and
They did.
yeah, where they made him. They said, you know what, we're beat up. We don't want to do this anymore. Him and Barry, pretty much, and then they were like, yeah, guess what? Give us back our money.
Yeah, we're gonna need that money back.
And Ursay, when Andrew Luck said, you know what, I'm beat up. I'm mentally not into this anymore. I know I can physically play, but I can't do it. He said pretty much what that meant was thank you for giving us everything that you had, and we're not going to go after you for a dime.
Yep. Yeah, his
Which
full guaranteed contract. Got to keep it. McAfee. I can't stand Pat McAfee.
yeah, I'm done with him now
But
too.
he told. I mean, he told a wonderful story about how Jim tried to convince him not to retire, and then after Mr. Irsay realized that Pat was like got a dead set on retiring, he gave him hints and advice and in a private meeting on how to go forth in entertainment and connections to have, and he would always send him nice reminders and stuff. So it speaks volumes to the person that he is. He's not the monster that a lot of people want to paint him out to be.
Like they did to his father.
Like they did to his father. Yeah, the Irsay story is amazing. I really hope that they do a documentary on his life because it is a story well worth telling to future generations. So, all right, now that we started off on a sad note,
Let's go to the fabulous 1960s
let's go to the fabulous 1960s.
when the Colts were still in Baltimore.
They were.
Which
They
there you
were.
go. That didn't help the situation.
Yeah, now I'm sad again.
But that was Robert Ursay. That wasn't Jim.
Was it Robert at this time?
It was what that moved him.
Well, I knew that
Or
moved him from Baltimore to Indy, but I didn't.
I don't think he bought him until like the 70s because him and Carol Rosenblum did a franchise trade.
That's what it was. What
because
Ursay was Los Angeles, right?
or yeah, Ursay bought because that's why I found it kind of when I looked up the Jim Ursay thing. He died in Los Angeles, and that's technically the original team that his
Mm,
father owned was the Los Angeles Rams. Rosenblum had the Colts, and they switched. They
interesting.
traded franchises, something that you probably never see.
There's
That's
no, you never see it. I think there were a couple people who tried to do it.
Ralph Wilson.
I was gonna say Ralph Wilson. I knew was trying to do that. Um, but the '60s is a great era. We just talked about it last week, so there's not a whole lot of new information as far as pay scale and stuff that we can really go
Yeah,
into. But this was the year that the National Football League really became whole, and they had more teams. They had more teams. I just counted. I looked at the beginning of the decade, 1960. They had 13 teams, and obviously we don't know which year we're going to be drafting from yet, but 13 teams in all is what they had, and it's pretty cool. Their West Division had 7 teams, which is very weird, seeing that Baltimore was in the West Division. That
see, even back then it didn't make sense.
hold on a second, why? What? St. Louis was in the East. This is all right. I'm gonna
Well,
read this
St.
really
Louis,
quick.
even then though, it doesn't make sense because I was gonna say even with St. Louis in the East, you could say, okay, well that's Chicago. Then maybe that's like from when the Cardinals were there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking. I mean, again, we don't know which year we're gonna be drafting from yet, but the 1960 divisions. The East was Philly, Cleveland, the Giants, the Cardinals, Steelers, and Washington. And the West was Green Bay, Detroit, San Fran, Baltimore, Chicago, Los Angeles, and the Cowboys. The easternmost team in the entire National Football League at that time was
Was Baltimore?
probably the Colts.
Yeah,
Because I think Maryland kind of sticks out a little bit eastward. That's that sucks. Like, no wonder why they're 6-6 in 1960. All the traveling they had to do.
well, I don't think they have Johnny U yet. Oh no, they
No,
did
they
have Johnny.
did. Yeah, they had him. Got
Yeah,
him
they
in
did.
56,
Yeah,
I think. But yeah, just a really cool decade. Really, the NFL. We touched about it with the AFL last week, but television was a big part of the growth of the National Football League, of professional football. It was so important, and both the AFL and NFL landing TV contracts was important to its growth. It wasn't quite at the status of baseball just yet,
no,
but it would be within the coming decades. Probably, I would say it hit that point the '80s, maybe even the night. It's kind of hard.
I would say the late. No, even then, I don't know. Maybe I think it's more the '80s. Not so. I know it's definitely not the early '70s. Because remember, my uncle telling me watching Super Bowl VII, and he watched it by himself. Could you imagine? And there's a house full of people. So could you imagine a house full of people, and you're watching, and nobody cares that the Super Bowl. Well, I get which guys are saying. I know where you're gonna go when I say that, but you get what I'm saying.
I was just say I'd love to watch a football game in peace and quiet. But yes, yeah, the fact that it's like it's not like for us. Super Bowl means people getting
Yeah,
together, a party. I had this past year. I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I didn't watch a lick of the Super Bowl because football really pushed me to the point of not caring. But back then, like to hear it back then, that's pretty crazy.
yeah.
That's a wild thought to think about. Yeah, I'm gonna go up in the bedroom, honey, on our 7-inch TV and watch the Super Bowl.
So it looks like in '67 they went to 4 divisions.
Oh, with just the NFL alone,
The NFL, yeah. Some they had the Capital,
Capital Division.
Century, Coastal, and Central Division,
Mm.
and the Los Angeles Rams were well. I get okay. So the weirdest No. Atlanta is so the Coastal was the Tell me this isn't crazy. The Los Angeles Rams, the Baltimore Colts, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Atlanta Falcons.
So they really hated San Fran too, I guess, back in the day.
And then here's the capital: the Cowboys, the Eagles,
Okay.
Washington,
Eh?
and the Saints.
Eh,
That's
the Cowboys are probably the furthest west, right?
no, the Rams.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, in that
In
division,
that
the
division,
Cowboys.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, Cowboys are the furthest west.
yeah.
Yeah, and the Central is the only one that makes sense because it's like the old NFC Central, pretty much without the
Yeah.
Buccaneers. It's the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings.
Oh yeah, that's
The
classic.
Century was the Browns, Giants, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Steelers.
Hmm. Yeah, St. Louis is probably the furthest away. Interesting times, man.
So
I'd love to go through like the division history of divisions at some point. I think that'd be kind of fun to go through and just
I want to
kind of
know
see.
what they were thinking.
Well,
Because
hey,
what
it was the '60s, you know. LSD was in its purest form. There
good
was
old Pete.
some assassinations, you know. The Cold
Good
War, peak Cold War.
Pete Cold War,
Who knows what they were
um,
thinking?
Cuban Missile Crisis.
MK
Everything's gone.
Ultra, Polybius.
Oh, so
That was the '80s.
that was yeah. I was gonna say 70s they went to more, but then I realized that's the official merger year.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's when they finally split. So, all right, we're gonna do this
Or-
thing. This is the rubber match between myself and Andrew. Whoever wins this one will be above 500. I'm actually really excited. I'm kind of glad I got to rally back and be a part of this. So, all right, here we go.
The future.
Back to the future. The wheel randomizer. All right, 1960, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, and 69. Those are the eligible years. Let us spin the wheel.
What are we gonna get?
Ooh. Oh. 1965.
Right in the middle.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, all right. So we're drafting from 1965. So I'm excited to see how the scoring goes with this. A little bit. I don't think it's going to be as good as our AFL shootout last week, but
Yeah, I don't.
we will certainly see. All right. So champion's choice, defending champion. I am going to elect to make the first overall pick.
Okay.
I'm not forgetting anything, am I? This is how we usually do this.
Uh,
I'm not.
no, you're not. You're not. I'm just trying to get stats.
Are you on PFR?
Yeah.
Click leaders. Go to 65 NFL season and just click
I
leaders.
see. Okay.
That's what I've been doing. All right.
Whoa. How'd it get me to 2024?
Oh, okay.
I picked Lamar Jackson. All right. Let's go.
No. All right. I think there's only one player that deserves the first overall selection in 1965. This year, he was the AP MVP.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. And he is from Cleveland. He is from Cleveland. I'm taking Jim Brown, first overall, RB1. Who? In 1965. Oh, shoot. It actually is his last year playing. Imagine that. 1,544 rushing yards, 17 rushing touchdowns. He also had 34 catches for 328 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Jim Brown, come on down.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I figured it out. I clicked at the wrong leaders.
Oh, okay.
I clicked up at the top, not on the.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
So
way
I can't.
easier.
I can't get Lamar Jackson.
There might be a Lamar Jackson in the league at this point, but I don't think the one you're thinking of.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he would have some points going on.
Yeah.
I'm just killing time if you haven't noticed.
Kill away, buddy. Kill away. You fit right in with the 60s.
Oh, gee. Oh, fabulous 1960s. I think that's as I try and kill time as to go with something with the 60s is my mother remembers just not officially remembering because she was still kind of young when Kennedy got assassinated. She wasn't even like 10 years old. And she just remembers like skipping home from school that day because they were just like, everybody gets to go home now. We're not a very aware family during certain things because I remember during 9/11 and I was trying to get ready for work and uh, I kept on looking at the TV and I always watch Sports Center and all they do is talk about and I wasn't quite sure because I'm like trying to get ready to work because I'm going to be late and this is before like you had news right in the palm of your hand so I'm like why do they keep on talking about this bullshit like I need to see some stats and it wasn't until I got all the way to work that they were like hey did you hear about those planes hitting the twin towers and then I felt like an idiot because
Yeah.
I was like
They played it in our classroom.
did they
Yeah. Sure did.
we had the OJ trial verdict
Oh,
in our
that's
classroom
that's probably
French class LaSalle Middle School I can
interesting.
still remember that uh whoa okay I'm gonna do something crazy here.
Oh, he's taking a tight end first overall.
I not first overall. I'm gonna take a wide receiver first overall.
Okay.
And Dave Parks
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
of the San Francisco 49ers, 80 receptions for 1,344 yards and 12 touchdowns. And then I am going tight end because I think this guy's got some killer stats for a tight end for this thing. Pete Pete Rutzlaff
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
well,
I like
of
this.
of the Philadelphia Eagles, 66 receptions, 1,190 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Very good.
I probably could have held out for something, but I don't know why. I feel like I need to take this guy now
Okay. All
as I sit back and I lose later on. But hey, the guy got MVP votes. If your tight end's getting MVP votes, then I guess he's worth a first overall in a second round.
All right. I'm gonna take. Very good. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bullet Bob.
Well,
Bullet
Bob
Bob
Hayes.
Hayes. This isn't the first time I've taken him either. I think I took him in the 70s.
Yeah, you did. Good old number 22.
He did good on my bench, so hopefully he does good this time. In 1965, it was his rookie season. All right. Bullet Bob Hayes, 46 catches, 1,003 receiving yards, and 12 receiving touchdowns. He also had -8 rushing yards for one rushing touchdown, so that's exciting.
That works out for you.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Makes sense.
Yeesh. That's something. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I know who you're going for.
And I'm taking RB2 from the Chicago Bears, Gale Sayers.
The Kansas Comet.
Good God. I just seen his touchdown totals.
Yeah.
Holy
I
Christ.
wish I would have looked at that a little bit sooner.
1965 was his rookie season. All right. And he had 867 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns. He had 29 receptions for 507 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. He must also, because it said 22, does he have special teams touchdowns?
Yeah. He scored 6 touchdowns in a game one time between special teams and everything else.
Good God. And are we counting those? Are we not?
We weren't counting special team touchdowns.
No, we don't have to then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just making sure. But yes, RB2, Gale Sayers. Woo! I'm moist.
I was just looking at that, thinking,
I almost went receiver, and then I scrolled past the total touchdown count. I was like, oh, damn.
I'm gonna go RB1. I'm gonna go Philadelphia Eagles. Oh no 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 no! I clicked off of them. Timmy Brown.
Timmy Brown. Timmy!
Timmy Brown.
We got Timmy Brown and Jim Brown going head-to-head at RB1.
Timmy Brown from South Philly. No, he's from. It's gonna get you. 861 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 50 receptions for 682 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's Timmy Brown. Oh, and then at quarterback, I'm going to go with John Brody.
Yep.
Of the San Francisco 49ers.
I was going to take him. Great choice.
3,112 yards and 30 touchdowns and 16 INTs, but he had way more. Had way more touchdowns than INTs, so. The other ratios, not the best. Not the best for this area.
All right.
So, Timmy Brown and John Brody are on my team there.
Excellent. I am probably going to reach a little bit.
I did with Pete there, with Pete's Retzlaff.
I don't think you did. I think that was actually very appropriate. I'm going to reach for my QB1 because I don't know if I'm ever going to have a chance to take him ever again. Johnny Unitas.
Okay.
I'm going to take John Boy, who in 1965, 2,530 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, 12 INTs. I believe I did see he rushed a little bit.
He probably did.
68 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So, Johnny Unitas. That's my guy. I hope that pans out because I think that was a little bit. I don't know. It's enticing, you know. And now what's that?
Oh, well, it's a good player there, mister.
Let's do my wide receiver 2 from the Rams. I'm going to take Tommy McDonald.
He was a Ram at that point?
Yeah, it was his first year with the Rams. He did 2 years with Los Angeles. 67 catches, 1,036 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns.
Good old Tommy. We got a lot of Johns.
Tommy Johns?
We're hoping our quarterbacks don't get Tommy John.
I hope not. I hope not.
No Tommy John for quarterbacks here.
All right, partner. You got 2.
You took Tommy McDonald. So pretty much all the top receivers are gone. I'm left with not too much in the running back situation here. Jeez. Damn, Gale Sayers was so good. How did I miss out on that?
My luck, he's going to be on a bye week. It always happens that way. I literally have a Hall of Fame quarterback and 2 running backs. And a wide, right? Bob Hayes is in the Hall of Fame too, right?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah. All right. And I bet you they all underperform. I guarantee it.
I want?
Guarantee it.
That's very 49ers heavy if I go this route, but I'm going to go Ken Willard, RB2 from the San Francisco 49ers.
Ken Willard.
Ken Willard.
Okay.
Ran for 778 yards, 5 touchdowns, had 32 receptions for 253 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Hmm.
Kind of. It's so weird because the way that these. All right. I'm going to go very heavy touchdown here. For my wide receiver, two, I'm going to go with the man that Earl Morrall missed in the end zone in Super Bowl III, Jimmy Orr.
Oh.
Why? Who did you think I was going to pick?
Ray Berry.
No, he was. Wait, I don't even think he was in that Super Bowl.
No, he probably wasn't. Well,
Uh,
he was 32 and 60. Well, yeah, he might not have been.
Jimmy Orr had 45 receptions for 847 yards, but he also had 10 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
I'm looking at the awards too. That's kind of like my tiebreaker. Looking at the awards and going with a little bit of a tiebreaker there, just to give some insight thought on what's going through my head on a lot of this stuff.
All right. You read Orr stats? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, my
Yes, I
apologies.
did.
Just want
No
to make
problem.
sure for the editing process. All right, I'm going to take my tight end one here, and from the Baltimore Colts, John Mackey.
Who? I never heard of that guy.
Yeah, we just talked about him last week.
He's a sad story.
Is he?
Yeah, I believe he's passed, but they showed him on like one of those HBO specials.
Yeah, he died in 2011, July 6th.
Yeah, he had some bad CTE and stuff like that. Like it was an HBO thing, and it was him and his wife, and they're talking to his wife, and he's there, and he keeps on asking her if she went to go get the car from the shop. And then the reporter finally, I don't know if it was maybe, no, I'm so skeptical about the news where if it was a setup or something, but I don't know if it was or wasn't. But then the reporter was like, why, was like, are you guys having car trouble? She's like, no, he just asked that throughout the day all the time.
Oh,
Like he's just like, this is a guy that pretty much had a big game in the Super Bowl, trend setting tight end, and he's just gone.
it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. Ugh. Well, Mackey in 65, 40 catches, 814 receiving yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. So that's pretty solid numbers there in the tight end category. Oh, let's see. And then I'm going to take my flex here. Also, well, I'm going to take him from Cleveland. Take Gary Collins. Take Gary Collins. 1965. He's a punter as well. That's exciting. 50 catches, 884 receiving yards, and 10 receiving touchdowns. So, Gary Collins is going to be my flex.
He said that's fun.
Well, I'm scrolling down his page, and the first stats are punting. I'm like, oh god. But hey, that's what you did.
You better pull double duty. We're not paying for punters back then. I think for my flex, I figured the rushing stats would have been a lot better.
Oh, they were. Yeah, Jim Brown and Gale Sayers were really good.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Like, there's really nothing that like stands out. So I'm gonna go for my flex from the St. Louis Cardinals. Uh, a left end as he's positioned here. Sonny Randall, 51 receptions, 845 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns.
It's your wide receiver 3?
Uh, no, that's my flex.
Or your flex, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sonny Randall?
Yep. And he made the Pro Bowl when it meant something.
Yeah. Very good.
So I get one more, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Let's go rushing. I'm going to go Jim Taylor of the Green Bay Packers for my RB3. Mr. Taylor, 1965, kind of winding down his career here. 734 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns, 20 receptions for 207 yards and no touchdowns.
Muy interessante. All right. Very good. I'm on a backup run here. I'm going to take Tommy Mason of the Minnesota Vikings as my RB3. 1965, he had 597 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, 22 receptions for 321 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. So Tommy Mason, RB3. And I'm not falling for all-purpose yards again.
Why? It worked out for you.
Did it? Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah, Fred Jackson.
That's right. It did
He had
kind
a
of.
decent game.
That's right. He did.
You want Washington quarterback Dick Shiner.
Actually, I kind of do now. Uh, let's see here. Wide receiver 3, Bobby Joe Conrad.
That's
A name. That is a name. 1965, 58 catches, 909 receiving yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns from the St. Louis Cardinals. Bobby Joe Conrad.
That's so. What do I got? Wide receiver 3.
You need QB2, wide receiver 3, tight end 2. I think this.
Oh, I forgot about tight end too.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. For my wide receiver 3, I'm gonna go with the inventor of the spike. Oh no, maybe not. Well, he played in all games. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go with the inventor of the spike, Homer Jones.
Homer Jones for our wide receiver 3.
Yep. New York Football Giants. 26 receptions for 709 yards and 6 touchdowns. As they said in dodgeball, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out for him. And for my QB2, I gotta do it. It's between 2 guys, but I gotta go with this guy. From the New York Football Giants, Earl Morrall.
Very good.
200 and or sorry, 2,446 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, and 12 INTs.
Awesome.
It was between him and Dandy Don. Yards beat him out. And Dandy Don had one more INT.
Earl Morrall. Should probably write that down. Okay. My final 2 picks. First, my tight end 2 from the New York Giants, Aaron Thomas. Who in 1965, 27 catches, 631 receiving yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. So, Aaron Thomas. And then my last one's going to be QB2. If I can get to that page. This computer, it's Old Faithful. It's a little slow. so many pop-ups.
No, I think it's just the website for some reason.
PFR is terrible with pop-up ads.
Yeah, I don't want to see Rob Lowe right now.
I'm going to take a Chicago Bears quarterback.
Jeez, that Rudy guy?
Rudy Bukic. No, it's got to be Bukic. Rudolph Andrew Bukic. I have never heard of this man, but his name.
That is a bold move. A Chicago Bears fantasy quarterback.
And yeah,
Bold move.
I know. 1965. Ooh, this man was slinging that rock.
That's not something you say. You better not say that too loud. Papa Bear come back from the grave and shut that down real quick.
He had his best year with Chicago. 2,641 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Now, this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame on that single season alone. In 1965, he had 33 rushing yards, also for 3 rushing touchdowns. I love this guy.
You're putting him right in that Hall of Fame.
I hope Johnny U is on a bye week. I'm going to win with Rudy Bukic.
Oh, my goodness. So to end the draft, I'm going to go with my tight end 2, Frank Clark of the Dallas Cowboys. 41 receptions, 682 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. He's no Rudy Bukic, but
hey,
who is?
It'll do.
Who is in this day of age?
That's right.
I swear, if I don't get a Rudy Bukic comparison message from you this football season, I don't think we can be friends anymore.
All right, pal. We skipped going over the team last week, and I guess I don't mind it because we're going to be going through it again.
Yeah, because we go through the stats.
Yeah.
So I completely didn't notice that until you said something.
All right. Let us, we're going to spin. So there's 13 weeks.
There's 13? Oh, there's a bye?
Yes, there's a bye. So everybody played 12 games, and there was a bye. So I just want to
65?
Yeah.
Because the Browns were 11-3.
What? Oh, you know what? I was looking at 1960, so that's probably why I was confused. I apologize. So there is 15.
Yeah, we're on 1965, right?
Yeah, when I started looking at it, it was only the 12, so that's my fault.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there's 15 weeks then.
Yeah.
I hope.
No, I don't know. Now you got me confused. There are.
Yeah, there's 14 games played.
Yeah, 15 weeks. I just looked at it.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I don't think they had a bye week.
So they played 15 to. How did
they played 14 straight?
So what's that 15th week?
I don't think there was a 15th week.
There is the Colt. Maybe it was a tiebreaker. The Colts and the Packers played, and it must be a playoff thing because it also highlighted the divisional round
in week 15. I'm seeing
so
the last game played is December 19th.
Okay, so that must be a playoff game that they did because if you click on the divisional, it will show you the same game as even if you click it on the 15th.
The divisional game is the postseason. Yeah, it's the postseason.
Yeah. So
the
there's
last
14 games.
Yeah, 14 games.
Okay.
And 14 weeks. So, all right. We're going to spin the wheel now that we got that figured out. All right, here we go.
Give me something good.
Oh, boy.
What? I don't like it when you say, oh, boy.
It's week 13.
13.
So everybody's nice and tired at this time. So
yeah,
that's fun.
Everybody's destroyed.
All right. We're going to take a brief pause then, and we get to start tallying up some scores. So let's hope for the best.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. We're back.
Yes, we are back, and I don't know.
I
I don't know. I have some great numbers. I have some legendary numbers, but I also I have some really low numbers too, historically low numbers for
oh,
myself. So I don't know.
so you're saying there's a chance?
I am. I am.
Okay.
How you feeling?
Uh kind of like a doctor's appointment waiting for test results. I just want to get it over with. If that makes any sense to
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
you. I'm in the waiting room. I I think it's going to be good from what you're saying, but I'm not quite sure of what's going on. So that's where I'm at on
Okay.
this. If like I said, if that makes any sense to you, I got an idea, and it's probably not the best, but hey.
Okay. That's the spirit. All right. So what we usually do here, if this is your first time joining, we go through position by position, read off
Yes.
the stats and the scores, and then we add up our totals at the very end. Of course, the scoring is in the description, so please go check that out if you're wondering what the heck are we talking about. If we could explain it every week, it would get annoying, redundant for those who keep coming back. So go check it out in the comment section or in the description. I apologize, but Andrew, let's start off with our quarterbacks. Why don't you go through your QB1 and 2?
Okay, so my QB1 was John Brody. He threw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he threw for 1 INT, and he also ran for 13 yards, giving him a total of 27.3.
Very nice.
QB2 was Earl Morrill. He had 21 points.
21. Okay. So a couple minutes ago, video time, I was joking and saying, hey, I kind of low-key hope that Johnny Unitas doesn't play this week so I could start Rudy Bukic, and it happened. It happened, and it was probably the best thing that could have happened for me. While the Colts did play, Johnny U was out, maybe with an injury. I'm not sure. But yes, he did not participate in Week 13. But Rudy Bukic did, and boy, oh boy, was he laying some wood down. You taking who was it, San Fran? I think it was San Fran to the woodshed.
Yeah,
It was bad.
yeah.
Great for me, but bad for San Fran. 347 passing yards, 23 points. 3 passing touchdowns, 18 points. 1 rushing yard, 0.1 points. He took no sacks, threw no interceptions, 41.1 points for Rudy Bukic. So that ended up being one heck of a grab. One heck of a grab.
Yeah.
All right. On to the running backs.
On to running backs. I got a good old Timmy Brown, who did not play. So Jim Taylor got promoted up into that starting spot there. He ran for 66 yards, had 2 receptions for 39 yards, giving him a total of 12.5 points.
All right.
Ken Willard of the San Francisco 49ers, because as Matt already alluded to, the 49ers had just a great game. Ken Willard had 24 rushing yards, 3 catches for 22 yards, giving him a total of 7.6 points.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, here we go.
well, you did good against one of my running backs.
Yeah.
Because you're Timmy Brown, you're Brown guy, Timmy Brown. He didn't play.
No.
Jim Brown should have just stayed home because it was terrible. 20 rushing yards for 2 points, 3 receptions for 3 points, and 13 receiving yards for 1.3, only 6.3. But that's where the fun stops for Andrew, because Gale Sayers put on a clinic.
I love how giving me the Arrested Development doctors thing. When Buster lost his hand and he was like, he's going to be all right. They're like, what?
Gale Sayers put on a clinic. 113 rushing yards, 11.3 points. 4 rushing touchdowns, 24 points. 2 receptions for 2 points. 89 receiving yards for 8.9. And he had a receiving touchdown for 6 points. 52.2 points for Gale Sayers. My RB3, Tommy Mason, did not participate, did not play.
I thought, yeah, because were we talking about that while we were recording? Where I was like, oh yeah, he had a 6 touchdown game,
I think so. This is only a fiver.
but
This
he
is
could have
only
had that. He could have had that punt return.
this might actually it might have been it.
Now I gotta look.
I'll look it up while you read off your wide receivers.
Yeah, he did it.
It was that game?
Yeah, because I got Dave Parks for the San Francisco 49ers. Dave Parks had a good game. He had 9 catches for 129 yards and a touchdown, giving him 27.9 points.
Ooh, very good. 27.9.
Yep,
That's your score leader so far. All right.
that's your score leader so far. And then I had good old Jerry Rice. I mean Jimmy Orr. Jimmy Orr. Jimmy Orr. He had 3 catches for 22 yards, 5.2 points.
You should have took Ray Berry.
No, what I should have did is try to get Homer Jones first because Homer Jones had 33.2
Oh,
points sitting on my bench.
you always do this.
Uh,
You always do this. So you said 5.2 for Jimmy Orr? I
yeah.
just want to make sure it's in the book right. You always leave an insane amount of points on the bench. You did it with Abner Haynes last week.
The 60s are not my decade.
No,
For
it's
the
not.
Kennedys and me, it didn't really work out in the 60s.
No, is your name Andrew Kennedy? Because might as well have been.
Kennedy.
All right. My wide
As
receiver.
we get canceled right now.
We're about to
Thanks
get
a lot, folks. Thanks for listening.
Yes,
Watching the
it's
last
been one heck
episode.
of a run. It's been one heck of a run. All right. My wide receivers, Bullet Bob Hayes.
Oh, jeez. That didn't come in
Oh,
good.
that was
after we just got-
that was a terrible
Oh.
timing. Oof. 3 catches for 3 points, 10.3 receiving yards, 103 receiving yards for 10.3 points, and 1 receiving touchdown, 19.3 points for Bob Hayes. But Tommy McDonald, what a day.
Yeah.
6 catches for 6 points, 200 receiving yards for 20 points, and 3 receiving touchdowns for 18 points, 44 points overall for Tommy McDonald. And Bobby Joe Conrad, who was on my bench, my wide receiver 3, had 20.6.
Not bad. That was wow.
I'm
With
glad
the
you
bullet
picked up
Bob-
on it. I'm glad you picked up on it.
All of a sudden we're sitting here talking about some things that happen in history with guns, and then we brought up, and then all of a sudden, Bullet Bob Hayes, everybody.
Boom.
Well, if there was one thing Kennedy loved, he loved tight ends, Marilyn Monroe. So I'm gonna go with my tight end one here, Pete Retzlaff. He had 5 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown, giving him 16.2. And then my tight end 2, I'm not quite sure because tight end 1 would that be Jackie would be Kennedy's tight end 2 and Maryland would be his tight end 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it
Okay.
goes.
As we just destroy the Kennedy family here. So my tight end 2 is Frank Clark, and he had 8.4 points.
8.4. All right. My tight ends. Oh, boy. Yeah, not good. Not good.
Not the best.
No, certainly not. I have a new team low. It almost hits our retro fantasy low, all-time low. John Mackey had 1 catch for 2 yards, 1.2 points. Just barely edging out our all-time low point getter.
I think it was last week, wasn't it?
No, it was from the Bills. Dave Nelson, your guy that you
Yeah.
reached for. you're like, oh, let's take a shot in the dark at this. In 2011, he had 1 point. And Aaron Thomas, my backup tight end, did not play. So there's that.
So there's a chance. So I got a Sonny Randall, the St. Louis Cardinal, or yeah, Sonny Randall. He had 4 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown, giving me 15.1 points.
15.1. All right. My flex, Gary Collins, also not great. 2 catches, 31 receiving yards, 5.1 points. So there's that. What's your total?
111.8.
All right. 169.2
Jeez Louise.
over here. So I have three-peated. And now I have a winning record, 5-4. I am. And I think this is the first time I've ever had a winning record in retro fantasy football. Not like this, but like when we used to do the podcast. I was terrible. I was really, really bad. There was like a stretch where I was like, I don't even know why I'm playing this anymore. Roy Green pulled it out, but it was just you and Boyd kind of just switching back and forth basically. So next week we're gonna do a special episode, and then we're gonna have a week off. I've been thinking. Andrew did have a really good idea that I would like to visit at some point. I kind of had my head set on this one though. We're going to do the new Cleveland Browns. The new Cleveland Browns. That is the plan. So, 1999 onward, it's going to be like an all-time draft. So, for example, if you want a specific player, who's good? If you're really fiending for like I don't think it's 07. Like 20.
Hillis.
Huh? Yeah, Peyton Hillis. So there's actually some really good redeemable things and stuff in there. So that's what we're gonna do. Is that one? So 1999 to 2024. That the new Cleveland Browns. That is what the plan is for next week. So I hope you all tune in. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah.
I hope I win.
I hope you do too. I feel bad now for losing or winning.
Feel bad. There you go. He lost. So guys, we're changing this. Oh no.
All right. We'll plug some stuff and things. Eat Sleep List every Monday and Friday for you all. This upcoming Friday, that at time of recording, at time of this episode comes out, the NHL jersey list, which is a lot of fun to go through.
Matt. They're sweaters.
You know what's funny? I have no props to wear. Nothing.
Really?
I don't have a hockey hat.
Damn.
I found a hockey hat in the studio, but I'm not going to wear it for the whole thing because it's not mine. But I legit do not have a hockey sweater at all.
I have the closest thing. I don't have any NHL ones, but from the movie Slapshot, I believe it is one of the Hanson brother jerseys. I can't remember which Hanson brother, but I don't know if you've ever seen Slapshot.
It's probably been a while. I'm sure I've watched it before.
I'm pretty sure your father sat you down and was like, you need to watch this.
I'm pretty sure he did too. But all right, so there's that. Make sure you tune in. For those who are just on the YouTube channel, we had an issue with the Nostalgia Funhouse, the original RSS feed. It had to be switched over to a new page. We're backlogging. We're going through old episodes and transferring them. That's on me. So it's going to be on a new feed for Apple Podcasts and Spotify going forward. So make sure. Are you going to make an announcement on like the Facebook page or anything?
Yeah, I'm going to do the Facebook page when we record.
Okay. So that's got to be. You'll have to subscribe to a new feed. So I hope you guys all do that. Not to steal the thunder from you promoting it, but I thought I'd acknowledge that.
No, yeah. So if you have a problem with that, you can send emails to Matt. No.
Fair.
Check out the Nostalgia Funhouse. I got to thank Matt you did put us back on Spotify. You could have been just like Ah, whatever.
No, that's the big
So you
one though, because
could
everybody listens to it on there. It's just easier that way.
so yeah, check us out there. So we're back on Spotify. We're once I get the when Matt has time, he's gonna shoot me over the new RSS feed so I could get us back on YouTube as well, so you can listen to the podcast on YouTube. But the best place to listen to any of the Nostalgia Fun Pals podcast or the Sleep and List podcast as well is on the BICBP radio network. So go check us out there. If you can't find us anywhere else, go check us out there. Uh, with that being said, what may not be nostalgia for you may be nostalgia for some.